military associations and academies, and the military ordinaries and chaplains have been entrusted with a lofty mission that embraces numerous aspects of social and political life, defending our nations, maintaining security, upholding legalities and justice. Kenya, a beacon of hope within the African continent, proudly stands as a member of the Apostolate Militaire International (AMI). Recognized by the Vatican, this Catholic organization fosters ethical leadership, promotes peace, and strengthens the faith of soldiers worldwide. Father Dominic Kaburu, the pastoral director of the Military Ordinariate of Kenya, speaks to Sister Olga Masango, a daughter of St. Paul, about the significant role the Catholic Church plays in supporting and guiding military personnel.
Jubilee is a season of grace. It is a year of restoration and indeed a time of evaluation, for it is a time to look back and see where we have done well, where we have indeed put our faith into action, and then our faith is reawakened in our soldiers, in our families, in our missions, in our outreach to everyone that we serve. Secondly, the Jubilee year for us in the military, it is a time to critically and objectively analyze the flaws and setbacks that are being part of our mission, and see how best we can use this as moments, as lessons learned, so as to improve our service delivery to our soldiers, to their families, and to the immediate dependents. So indeed, this is a year where everyone, from the senior-most in the military to the lowest ranking, they are called upon to reevaluate how they put their faith into action when they are carrying out their military duties. The clarion call by the Holy Father in the theme of the Pilgrims of Hope resonates very well with what we do every day. Because indeed, the mission of the armed forces is to secure our borders and at the same time to offer deterrence from external aggression. So when you do that, we are able to reassure those who are indeed restless, those who have anxiety, that there is enough peace, there is enough tranquility, there is an environment that is conducive for everyone to be able to carry out their duties. So they are able to exercise freedom of association, freedom of expression, and indeed to be able to do what we call honest living, honest work to earn their living. So for us in the military, this is a moment that we are being invited to not only reevaluate, but see how best we can kaizen and make better those realities. In the context of our military bishop, Right Reverend Wallace Nana, who is our bishop now, he has inaugurated a commission for mass communication in our military diocese. Then we are for the first time putting our activities in a digital platform. That way it will be very easy to craft a message that is rich, and then it is able to reach the soldier wherever he is, even when he is in the war front. Therefore, the theme of this year is an affirmation of the core values and objectives that we do in the military. And indeed, during this time of digital age, we are up to the task to do it.
The digital age demands a bold response from the Church. While technology offers exceptional opportunities to reach military personnel with the gospel, it also threatens to leave them isolated and exposed to harmful narratives. This Jubilee must be a turning point, a time to embrace digital innovations and ensure the Church remains a beacon of truth and connection for those who protect our nations.
Congratulations, really, for this new commission of the communications of the military ordinariates. Communication is key in all activities of the Church. because it's communication that make known the other activities that are being carried on. Now, Father, how can the church influence armed forces to offer messages of consolation, solidarity, and hope, particularly to those marginalized and suffering?
First of all, allow me to say that indeed, the military in itself, it has been involved with those core values all along. Only now that it has been brought to the attention of the church that we need to put it on a platform so that others can know. For instance, if you remember our military in Kenya, in our motherland, they have been involved in activities of trying to quell insurgencies that are related to cattle rustling and other crimes that are common within our borders. And we not only do that, we make sure that those people who are displaced, we relocate them, we build them houses, we build health facilities for them, we also build schools for them, infrastructure, and so on. So indeed, as much as the world it seems to be militarized, we who are in the church, in the military, take careful steps that are more of intentional, so that we instill values in our soldiers, so that even when they carry out those duties that are military oriented, they have ethics and values that make sure that they work within the parameters of the human charter, the UN Charter of Human Rights for that matter, so that they work within the rules of engagement, while at the same time valuing the rights of those that they serve. And even when they are dealing with those that are committing crime, particularly international crime, which is terrorism, they give it a human face, so that this criminal is apprehended and given to the authorities who are concerned. Though when you do that, sometimes we are helping the provincial administration, which is the national police, of course through the known legal framework. So for us, we are actually involved all the time with the marginalized, the poor, and those who are indeed not well privileged in the society. And I don't need to mention because indeed, every time there is a disaster, you find our soldiers getting there to assist and to be on the front line to make sure that those who are affected, they are helped accordingly.
What pastoral plans do you have, especially as beacons of peace and hope?
We, particularly in this year of the Jubilee, as a part of the Mother Church, rather in the military ordinary, we have rolled out a program that has 5 pillars. And these 5 pillars, they are the ones that we shall use as themes that will help us to reach out to our soldiers and their families wherever they are. First of all, we begin by what Bishop has put in place. We had a series of opening the holy doors in our 4 regions. It started with on the 5th of January, on the Feast of Epiphany. We had the opening the holy door at the Cathedral, St. Peter and Paul and Defense Headquarters. Then on 12th of January, he opened the holy door in Kenya Navy Headquarters in Mombasa, for the region of Mombasa. Then on 19th, he opened the holy door at St. Ignatius of Loyola, Laikipia Air Base, for the region of Nanyuki and the Isuru region, so that they can also have the holy door close to them. And finally, on 26th of last month, he opened the holy door at St. Michael in Bilbil for the Nakuru region. So indeed, the first step began with the bishop himself. He made sure that just as the Holy Father has opened the Holy Door in Rome, also in retrospect, he also opened the Holy Door in the 4 regions so that the people can have adequate time due to the nature of our military work to be able to be available to go and do the spiritual pilgrimage in the churches that are close to them. And then from the Department of Communication, like I said, we have rolled out those five pillars. The first pillar, it is care for our families. We shall have talks and highlights being prepared, and then they will be disseminated to all the Christians in the military ordinary through social media, whereby there will be teachings so that the families can be invited to have moments of prayer in the Holy Door together. They can do pilgrimage to the Holy Door. They can also do activities of reconciliation. They can do activities of mentorship. They can do activities of reawakening their togetherness and so on. And this will happen in the first quarter of the year. That is what is happening now in this first quarter of the year. And then there will be the second one, which will be the building spiritual resilience. In this one now, we shall have also activities that are tailor-made to empower our families, our soldiers, our troops, so that they are spiritually nourished to be able to stand in the test of time. When they are having challenges, that they have the capacity or the back, what you call fallback position, for them to be able to stand firm in their faith. The third one will be strengthening the moral values. This is whereby we shall have the Christian values, the ethics, and the realities of the families being invited to be able to look back and say, which areas have we done below par and we need to work on them. Particularly our soldiers who are in the operation areas, normally they are away from their families. You may find some moral decadence due to the nature of either the spouse of either gender being away and the other. The children also going astray in terms of that, especially those who are teenagers. So by enhancing those values, then we will make sure that we are reaching out so that we can nip at the bud any negativity that will be coming up. And the fourth one will be reconciliation, forgiveness, and renewal, whereby indeed we shall have moments of spiritual talks and moments of recollection, moments of retreats, especially in those areas where the Holy Door has been opened, so that they can create avenues of reunion, avenues of reawakening their faith, and indeed sacramental reception. On the family care, we are also working out for what we will call mass weddings towards the end of the year. And those mass weddings, they will be in those 4 regions where the Holy Door has been opened, so that it becomes a moment of a climax, kind of, that our families have been reawakened, and these are the fruits of the reawakening. And then finally, the care for our environment. The Holy Father, in his encyclical Laudato Si, has called us to care for the environment. And so, in our various units and formations, we are having our youth and the PMC having seed beds for seedlings, which they can use during the days when the units and the formations are planting trees. Of late, we have had quite a number of units running those programs, and our Christians have been involved in planting trees and making sure that there is cleanliness where we live and work. And some are even making dust bins whereby they can use them to collect the dust around and be able to render their place clean.
Can soldiers be saints? Beyond the battlefield, the Church empowers military personnel to become forces for good by nurturing a spirit of service within the military. We empower our heroes to become not just defenders, but also beacons of hope to those in need and in times of crisis.
In which way are you going to live the aspect of being pilgrims of hope related to the objectives of Apostolate Militaire International?
It's just the other day that we had the convention here in Kenya, in Mombasa specifically, which was successful. And the ideals that are tailor-made for this apostolate group, it is one, to promote and support peace initiatives in the world, to promote and uphold the teachings of the church in line with the peculiarity of the military sphere and environment. So indeed, when we are dealing with the ideals that are being specified by this apostolate, we are actually elevating them to the level of now it is no longer at just our country level. It has to be ideals that also resonate with the world, so that those who are involved in the military planning in a conventional way, they also do what we call they borrow from the ideals of faith and ethics that instill on those who are in the operation to make sure that they don't violate the rules of engagement. They also don't violate the rights of those that they are operating with or operating for. So for us in the military ordinariate, we are actually being invited to walk the talk, making sure that our soldiers, our troops, because they are involved every other day with the operations, like now we have the Linda Amani in Boni Forest, Operation Maliza Uhalifu in the North Rift. So even when they are involved with those national and international operations, there are values that indeed help them to make sure that they are Christians at heart. They indeed borrow from the Christian values so that whatever they are undertaking in their duties, it has a Christian touch, it has a human touch, it has a divine touch with it. The very nature of the mission of the military church is to offer hope and a reassurance that God cares. We are committed to journeying with everyone towards making these values come to pass, and minding that everyone counts and everyone has a right to life, and that life is God-given. So even when he is a criminal, for that matter, he has a right to life as well. So indeed, we are being guided by the ideas of Army to make sure that our activities are indeed in line with the convention, the UN Charter Convention on Human Rights. And then finally on the same, our soldiers are very religious, and it may be a Muslim, it may be a Protestant, it may be a Catholic. Ideally, they, apart from having the uniform, they align themselves to the faith that guides them with the ideals of faith. So we find it very easy to journey with them, because in the military we have the Catholic chaplains, the Protestant chaplains, the Muslim chaplains, and we are all one team. We don't see them as Muslims, we see them as brothers and sisters. And so we journey together with ideals that are backed by the Bible teachings or the teachings of the church, even from the Quran point of view. And so we are a family that has a focus on making sure that these ideals are necessary and they are in practice for our people.
Like a shepherd guiding his flock, Father Dominic Savio has walked along military personnel and their families, witnessing their courage and struggles. His insights offer an impressive reflection on the enduring power of faith in the face of uncertainty and sacrifice.
What is your message? And what have been your experience while ministering among the military, bringing hope?
It is true, the image of a uniformed military officer, sometimes it sends shockwaves to those that meet the military person. However, behind that uniform is a very soft human person who is human like you, who has feelings like you. Whatever you go through humanly, he is able to go through. But more importantly, one who is notoriously religious. For us in the military, we believe that other people get God second hand. Because even if we started praying here, you would hear people saying, "One our majeshi," meaning it belongs to us first before it belongs to the others. But far from that, due to the intensity of some operations which the military personnel have been involved in, they are so grave that the action that is required to mitigate on an issue like terrorism, when you see them operate with that vigor and precision, you may think they would do the same way when they are dealing with the citizenry, which is different. It can only be affirmed in areas where the military have been involved, building schools, infrastructure projects, health facilities and so on, and even distributing food and medication, what we call medical camps. When you meet them in those activities that are not oriented to operations as per se, that's when you see the human face of the military. I used to have the same image until I was recruited and seconded into the same and trained, and so I can give my version from within. That for the 19 years that I've been a chaplain in the military, what we have endeavored most, it is to try to change that narrative. That indeed we are friendly, we are human beings, and beyond our mandate to secure our borders and to do deterrence, we are supposed to interact with our people in context. Secondly, the soldier has a mandate. We call it mission command. So when he is on a mission command, say for instance, the Dusit attack that happened just across the fence of your community, when that occasion happened, those who responded from our side, you would say you would not want to encounter him because of the nature of how he is. But meet the same officer, the same soldier when he is on peacetime, when he is on normal duties, you will find a very soft person in that context. So my experience for those 19 years that I worked in the military is that God has a way of being manifest through the soldier, and it is God's mission to make sure that there is peace, stability, there is love, justice in the world. So when we find our service members being involved in those activities that seem to restore those realities that are not going right, we should not just see the soldier. We should see the hand of God that is at work through them. So indeed, my experience is that it is an opportunity, God-given opportunity to serve in the military and to be part of a mission that is divine.
Father Dominic provides a glimpse into the vital role of the Church in supporting and guiding the men and women in uniform.
Pray for us, and we also pray that God will give us the grace to serve more.
As we continue on this journey together as pilgrims of hope, let us remember to pray for our military personnel and their families to strive to build a more just and peaceful world for all.